Episode of Uncaged, the John Rocker podcast. I, of course, am John Rocker. Have a great guest on today. I've been looking forward to interviewing this guy ever since we booked him about 3 weeks ago. Former Major League Baseball pitcher, like myself, but has a much more unique story, unique path to the big leagues than 99.9% of us had. He got to the big leagues via the United States Navy. Can't wait to hear the story. I've researched him a little bit, listened to a few podcasts he's on, or he's been on prior to mine, and when I heard some of his pathway, I'm like, and I was a little irritated with a couple of the interviewers that had Mitch on prior to him being on this show. Going, where's the follow-up question? I got to follow up. I had like 15 follow-up questions with about 10 minutes going, why aren't you? There's so much there to unpack. Like where are the follow-up questions? So without further ado, Mitch Harris, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, and tell the audience here where you are right now.
Man, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. We are about to do a fantasy camp up here at Field of Dreams. I've actually never been out here, so I'm looking forward to it. Super excited. The weather looks like it's going to cooperate with us, so excited to see it.
Cardinals fantasy camp?
Oh, yeah, Cardinals fantasy camp
fantasy
kicks
camp.
off tonight, banquet tonight, games over the next 2-3 days, and hopefully my body still has it in me.
How's that going to fare with your body? That's a big question.
Hey, I got plenty of Tylenol and beverages to hopefully lube it up. So we'll see what happens.
Brought some beans with you? Couple beans?
What's it?
Couple beans, beat it up a little bit?
We'll see.
I would show pictures, but it's a pain in the ass to pull them up. I did the Field of Dreams. Tom House, I'm sure you know who Tom is. Was my mentor the last probably 4 years I played. I have been working with Tom off and on for the last, 6 or 7 years with the National Pitching Association, and we did a camp up in Iowa City, which is maybe an hour and a half from the Field of Dreams, in December. So I'm like, I got to see it. I got to see it. And we drove out of the Field of Dreams. It was about 8 inches of snow on the ground. I'm in jeans and tennis shoes and a long sleeve shirt. Like, I don't give a shit. I got to go stay on that mound. And the wind was blowing probably, 8 degrees maybe. Snow's blowing. Snow's inside my shoes. I'm freezing my ass off. I went out one picture, said, all right, I'm out of here. But yeah,
I got it. You got the picture, though.
My experience of the Field of Dreams was no cornfields and about 8 inches of snow. But I stood on the mound, saw the little backstop back there, the house over there. So what an awesome place that is. I'm sure your experience is different. The field's probably all made up and looking good, and the corn surrounding it. So yeah, a little different.
Yeah, they showed some pictures from when they walked the field yesterday to take a look at it, and it looks amazing. So I can't wait to get out there and see it for myself. No, tomorrow's our first day.
Now you guys playing on the big league field they built for that, or you actually playing on the Field of Dreams?
We're actually playing on the Field of Dreams site,
the cornfield.
Because
really, that's awesome.
Yeah. Because the big league field they're actually renovating because they're going to actually put they're going to put legit clubhouse, all kinds of great stuff there, and the plan is for us to come back and play on both fields in upcoming years. So I can't wait for that.
I wonder how they had a big league game there. What do they do for training rooms? What do they do for hot tub, whirlpools? What do you do, dude? Dressing facilities. Get dressed in a hotel like you're in 8-ball.
I think they had a little makeshift, they brought in kind of like almost like those old school, classrooms that you used to have, in elementary school, and kind of just changed in there. But for training rooms,
we love stuff like that. Yeah, we love that. Yeah, exactly. Like you're in rookie ball in Princeton, West Virginia.
Exactly.
That's a fine stuff.
Yeah, you got to get Lance Lynn on. He pitched out here. He started out here, I think, in that game. So you got to ask him.
Are you going to throw?
Oh, God, no. I'll be throwing from short to first because that's where they'll have me playing. Because the average age out here is like 55, so it's going to be me at short and everybody else fill in a spot. I think is what's going to happen.
I'm getting ready to have back surgery probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. Pitched my back, only to get that out of the way so I can have a knee replacement. And it's all on the right side, left-handed. That right side had to stop 250 going downhill for 13 years.
Yeah, my left. Yeah, same deal. My left knee is probably not too far behind you. So
I can barely walk, brother. I mean,
yeah, well,
I'm 50. Now I've still got that right there, but it looks okay, but it is not functioning for shit.
That's right.
And hell, the last time I threw to live hitters, I was probably 35 or 36. How old are you? You're a little older than that, right?
I'll be 40 in November. Yeah.
I'll trade with you. You want to be 51? You want to do that? Be 51?
I'm good. No, I think I'm good right here.
But I was like 36. They invited me down for an MLB alumni game in Boca. And it was like May, but it was probably upper 80s, 90-ish. They had me throw 2 fucking innings. And like, okay, well, the number 2. Like, what is 2? Like, when I was in great shape, I didn't throw 2 innings. And,
exactly.
The second inning, I go out there, and there were some swingers. Darrell Evans was there. George Foster was there. What other names were there? There was a few names there. It's been so long off the top of my head, I can't think. But there was some guy, Mike Pagarula was there. There was guys, they could still swing a little bit. And it's like the hitters, they still got the swing. We ain't got the arm, man. We got no velocity, which obviously we're trying to pitch off velocity to make bring stuff more effective. You know how it goes. And that second inning, I walked out to the mound with a bath towel, not like a little hand towel, a towel you dry off yourself coming out of the shower with, and threw that thing behind the mound. And after about every third pitch, off the mound, just going, pick that towel up. Like, how the hell I used to make a living like this, dude? And that was at 36 years old, just gassed. And I was still 245 and 12% body fat. I was still, you look at me like, yeah, he's in pretty good shape. Bullshit, son.
Yeah. It ain't pitching shape.
Pitching shape, man. That's the weirdest thing.
That's a whole different thing, dude.
Yeah, so you're not going to try to throw, huh?
No, absolutely not.
Go and get yourself a Tommy John to pitch tomorrow. Go get yourself one of those.
Hey, listen, I already had that replacement. I didn't have Tommy John. I had the repair.
Yeah,
where they just
next level down.
Yeah, they take the UCL and wrap it up with scaffolding tapes and put it back in there. So that sucker is strong. It ain't coming apart, but I tell you, the rest of my body could easily come apart.
It sucks. I know. It's so hard to stay in pitching shape too. I mean, just all the stretching and everything else. The flexibility aspect of it is tough to keep up with. Yeah, it really is. So, again, when I heard about your story, I mean, how the hell did it happen, dude? Now, so you're coming out of high school, recruited. Just tell me your story, dude. So you come out of high school, you're a good pitcher, and then and just from there, man, what happened?
Yeah, man. So in high school, I was just kind of your good, average athlete. I played multiple sports. And it just so happened our high school team, our football team had a really good, season. I didn't play football in high school. They wouldn't let me. The head football coach tried to get me over, but the head baseball coach was also the assistant football coach. And he was like, you ain't getting on the football field. Well, long story short is we had a Navy coach come to recruit for football. And he came by the baseball field to pick up the assistant coach to walk over to football practice. Well, I happened to be throwing a bullpen. Yeah. And he's like, hey, what's this kid's deal? He's got good grades, Yeah, he's like, hey, this guy's got, looks athletic. What's the deal here, And 2 weeks later, I went on a visit to the Naval Academy, and I'd never even heard of it. Quite frankly,
driven through there. What a beautiful campus,
dude. And same thing happened to me, man. I never heard of it. I got there and was like, dude, this is different.
It's awesome.
And I fell in love with it, and man, I committed to go there, and the coaches had never seen me play. They just they called around and asked people. Back then, this was before a perfect game and all the PG national stuff and all that crap. It was basically just, hey, he played in.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Good
exactly. Yeah. We had to call and get, use actual eyeballs to see how well played. And so, man, that's how I got there. And, man, from then on, it was just a appreciation of the place and what I was a part of.
Yeah, one of the coolest things I've done was probably, I guess, about 6 months ago, my old agent, Joe Sambito, his son plays for the Air Force Academy. They invited me to come out and actually speak to the team, watch a game, and all that. And I got a tour of the Air Force Academy, which cool enough, but not the aesthetically pleasing type campus as the Naval Academy is. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. So you're at the Naval Academy, and I'm assuming if you're there more than 2 years, then we've got a commission in the branch. Huh?
Yeah, so they actually make you sign what they call 2 for 7. So 2 more years of school, and then 5 years of service, and there's your 2 for 7.
Yeah,
And so
the Air Force Academy, I was talking to 2 guys that might have a chance to get drafted, and their big thing was they were finishing their sophomore year, and they're like, if I stay 1 more year, I either got to leave now or forever hold my peace, kind of thing.
That's right, because if you leave after that, you owe the government money, and so your sophomore year, you gotta kind of figure that out. And so, man, I've got a picture that I still have to this day of me sitting in the Memorial Hall, which is a really special place there inside of Bancroft Hall, which is our dormitory, and that's where we signed our 2 for 7. And the reason that's so special is Memorial Hall is where we have everybody's name that have passed away during service. They've gone through the Naval Academy. They're etched in stone, and it wraps around that room in there. And so when we're in that room signing our 2 for 7, it's just a reminder of what you're doing, what you're signing up for. And obviously the dream of playing in the big leagues was what I wanted to do. But I told myself, hey, I've committed to this place. If it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. But I want to serve, and I want to figure out a way to make it work.
Were you getting scouted by big league clubs in high school?
No, in high school, I was kind of just a solid, decent athlete. I could have gone probably to some smaller D1s, but nothing big time. And it really wasn't until, and this is what made it more difficult, it wasn't until my sophomore year that I really got some attention. My freshman year, I only threw 15 innings. And then my sophomore year, we had a new coach come in, new staff. They redid the whole deal. And I went from doing 15 innings to, I don't remember, 150 or something innings, and ended up having a sub 2 ERA, and I think going 10-2 or something like that. And then people were kind of like, all right, who is this guy? And so that people started coming to games. And then
the Paul Skeens of the Naval Academy,
and that's kind of how it started, and that was kind of where people started calling, "What's the status? How can you play?" And we didn't have any answers, and then that was what made it tough to sign the 2 for 7 going into junior year. But man, I'm glad I did. And then junior year, we started trying to figure out.
Once you grab the Naval Academy, your life's made. I mean,
and that's kind of what my
Naval Academy graduate. Never do. You can get any job you want. Your life's made.
Yeah. So once mom and dad kind of talked through that whole conversation, look, at the end of the day, to your point, you're going to get an education from the Naval Academy. If you're good enough, they're going to figure out a way to get you to play. And so we signed it, and man, we were excited to kind of figure out what that looked like. But man, even through my junior year, got to go to the Cape Cod League at the end there, and again, now I'm even more on the map. Playing with the guys at a little bit higher level, and that's when it really started to sink in that, hey, this is actually a real legitimate opportunity. What do we do?
That's a tough decision right there, man.
And that was hard, man, because at the end of the day, I wanted to stay and fulfill the commitment I made. And now I'm draft eligible. Actually, the Braves took me in the 24th round in 2007. I basically had to tell them, like, hey, unless you offer something that's just I can't say no to, like, I've got to stay and graduate, because you leave the academy, you got to start over. You can't just come back. And
so if you leave the academy, you start as a freshman.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just transfer in, and I've had buddies that I played with who started out at another college and were going into their sophomore year, but when they transferred over to the academy, they're a freshman. They start back from scratch.
They make you go through all that hazing shit, and
exactly right.
And
you don't get any exceptions.
Kind of stuff. Yeah,
that's right.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Though.
Yeah, and it's kind of.
I don't want to do all the shitty freshman. I was going to transfer in when I'm a junior and still get all the benefits of having a degree from there. I'll skip the bad stuff. Exactly. That doesn't work that way. I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was another tough decision. It's like, hey, my junior year, I'm getting drafted. I got drafted. Now lower rounds, but what do I do? Do I take this? Do I not? And I decided to stay and graduate, and I figured, hey, maybe I can have another solid year and maybe get drafted a little bit higher. Maybe that'll help, with the conversations with the Navy and the military and figuring out what'll happen. And, fortunately, the Cardinals took me in my senior year in the 13th round. And so, again, we still didn't have an answer, but I told everybody that would listen. I said, look, I want to do both. I want to serve, but I want to play. I want to fulfill my commitment to what I've told my family and friends and peers. But I want to achieve that dream that I've had as a kid and play in the big leagues. Just give me a chance. And, unfortunately, we couldn't figure that out on the military side, but I wouldn't change it, to be honest with you, because the person that it made me, and I got to serve for 4 years, 8 months, and 8 days. Not that I was counting, but I got to see a lot of stuff. Got to see,
Exactly.
got to go to 30 countries before I was 26.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Got to have a lot of leadership things that were naturally taught through all the stuff that I went through, and man, I had a blast. I really did.
What was your role in the Navy?
My first ship, I was a weapons officer, and then my second ship, anything having to do with anything having to do with a weapon or ammunition on the board, on board the ship, I was in charge of. So we were an amphibious ship, which means we were basically taxis for Marines. And so when the Marines came on board, my guys were in charge of helping them store the ammunition, both for them personally as well as their helos. As well as all of our ammunition on board the ship. So our guys took full control of all that, made sure we got it out for them when they needed it, when they were going into shore. So that was our job, my first ship. And then the second part of that ship, I was the Combat Information Center Officer, which is when you watch any military movie or Navy movie, it's that dark room that has all the neon lights. We call that combat. And so essentially we were in charge of basically the intraday things, ship movement, where we were going, what we were assigned to do. And so that was a lot of fun because you got to know what was going on prior to most. And then my last tour, I was the training officer on board the USS Carr, which is a frigate out of Norfolk. That was fun too.
I've heard the word. What's the define a frigate for me?
A frigate is just it's a small. I like to say it's a torpedo sponge. Basically, what was it designed to do is kind of help tender some of the subs, but now, or at least then, it was used more for like drug operations. Like for that deployment, the first part of the deployment, we went up and did a Baltic tour, which was amazing, going to all the different Baltics up in Russia and basically wave a flag and say that we were friends with everybody, aka we both spied on each other.
Yeah.
While we in there and met with all the VIPs. And then the other half of that deployment went down to South America and did drugs and taking their, we can debate on the that's
blew up drug runners from Venezuela. We did some of that. Luis, we're losing him again. He's glitching again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now,
took him to get. Said, don't do it anymore.
Are those drones doing that now? Is that who's getting these drug running boats out of Venezuela? The drones? Who's getting those?
I think. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but I believe so. I mean, if you're asking me about what we could do with the drones, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's so people don't understand how difficult it is to detect these small boats. I mean, on radar, it's almost impossible to pick them up because they're so low and so small that just even the waves are bigger.
Boats,
and some people don't even know this. They have developed essentially their own man-made submarines. I mean, they're super, super small, compared to, what you think of as a submarine. But these submarines basically just ride on the very top of the water where you can just barely see the top part of this boat. But it's impossible to pick them up on radar. You basically have to see them to even know they're there. But, when you're using, the technology we have now, you're able to pick some of these guys up and stop them before they get here to the U.S.
The cost for mules from Venezuela to Miami probably just went way up.
Yeah.
100 grand? No, you won't. You're maybe $2 million bucks. It just went way up for your ass.
What's the sad part, and I know this only because this happened, when we were down there, is, some of these people, they're not paid anything. It's hey, here's what you're going to do because I have your family.
We'll murder your family, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was the sad part of the back end of seeing some of that stuff. It's like, man, what do you do? Because it's like, dude, you're not supposed to do it, but you're in a rock and a hard place. What are you going to do if you're in that situation? But at the end of the day, you're kind of, hey, at the end of the day, you're not going to take all this amount. I mean, we had a full cargo ship, a smaller cargo ship, but still a full cargo ship. The whole well deck of this cargo ship was full of cocaine. If that tells you how much cocaine was in there. So, I mean, it's unreal how much of that.
You guys seized it.
Oh, yeah. And we took every bit of it and then took the ship and did away with it.
What did you do with the cocaine?
I had to send it back to Colombia.
You did? All of it? All of it?
All of it. All of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Just fucking your ass. Well, shit. So you're doing all this cool shit all over the world on frigates and all kinds of just like badass like movie type stuff. But yeah, we still want to play baseball. So what do we do as far as I'm in uniform every day, but back in my head, where we go and pursue the dream from there.
For me, it was about, I had to work out every day. Every day I had to work out from a standpoint of just keep my mind, in line with what I wanted to do. And then on the my first ship, USS Ponce, we had a pretty large flight deck, just long enough to long toss. The issue was like trying to find somebody that I trust to throw with. I was like, man, I'm gonna eat up anybody who's out here. I played high school ball.
How many balls you throw overboard?
Too many to count, but my dad would send out bags of baseballs, every couple weeks out to the ship. Yeah. I'd get a delivery of bag of baseballs, and we'd throw on the flight deck. And one of the guys on board, they told me, hey, you need to go talk to Victor Nunez. I was like, why him? He's like, because he played baseball, I'm pretty sure. So I went down to the kitchen. He was a cook. And I was like, hey, is there a Victor down here? He's like, yeah, what's up, man? I was like, hey, thought about maybe throwing on the flight deck. Want to see if, you could catch me. He's like, come on, Poppy, I'm from Dominican. Let's go. So I was like, all right, I got the right guy. So we went on the flight deck, and we threw long toss as much as we could in between flight ops and all the other stuff. And, if nothing else, the point we were making earlier, I didn't stay in pitching shape. No possible way to do that. But it was more of a mental thing, man. I worked out every day. I threw as much as I could just to kind of say, hey, if I get the opportunity.
Moved up a little bit. Yeah.
That's right. If I get the opportunity, I knew that I didn't have to worry about my body breaking down. I knew I could just focus on my arm when I finally got back.
So St. Louis drafts you before you deploy. Where's St. Louis? Right. What's St. Louis doing all this time?
Yeah, so they put me on their military reserve list and basically said, let us know when you find something out. And we thought initially, because they had what they called a early release policy where you could do 2 years of active duty and extend your reserve time. Well, if you remember in 2008, 2009, 2010, we're still in the middle of the war in Iraq, Afghanistan. And so they put that on hold. And so that was our initial thought was, hey, I'm going to do 2 years of active duty and then do, upwards of 7 years or so in reserves. Well, that didn't happen, obviously. And so ended up doing all 5 years of active duty and basically called the Cardinals.
No, 4 years, 8 months, 7 days, and 13 hours.
That's exactly, yeah. 4 years, 8 months, 8 days, exactly. Yeah. And I only know that because it's on my DD 214, which is our form that you get when you get out. But it was one of those things where I was putting in for that early release package just about every other year, just saying like, hey man, like I will serve however you ask me to, but let me at least try to achieve this goal that I've had as a kid. I think anybody would say like, these people who are going into the military, they have goals and dreams as well, and we're all pursuing something like that.
Yeah. So your 4 years and 8 months are done. What part of the year is that as far as the baseball season calendar?
Yeah, so this is 2000 going into 2013. They tell me that I'm able to get out in January of 2013.
For spring.
And yeah, so I call the Cardinals like, hey, look, I'm getting out of active duty. I'll still be in reserves, but that doesn't affect it at all. Can I come to spring training? And they're like, if you think you can, yeah, by all means, come on. And so they were huge.
I haven't seen a live hitter in 5 years or more.
No, yeah, exactly. And so you'll love this. I get there, and I'm in great shape. I'm probably at like 12% body fat, 225, 230.
Yeah, you look the part.
And when I got there, I was grunting going 83, 84 from the right side, and that was not good. You can imagine.
And so everyone's like, that was your breaking ball velocity.
Exactly. Yeah. That was my changeup.
Yeah, either I can swing it, every while I can curveball slider. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so they're like, all right, well, we got to figure this out. And you remember Brent Strom? He was the minor league pitching coach at the time, and he said, hey, we're going to try everything. They sent me to yoga. They sent me. They did all kinds of crazy stuff. One of the craziest ones was.
You'll try everything. You'll try everything.
Almost everything.
A little past time for that, but that wouldn't hurt.
We tried just about everything, I should say. Yeah. Well, in the backfield in Jupiter, you got the mounds in between the fields. Mm-hmm. And so I'm throwing a bullpen on one of these mounds, and he's got a bucket of balls behind me. He said, every pitch, I want you to let it eat, throw it to the catcher, and then I want you to grab a ball from behind you, and then I want you to turn over here and pro hop and throw it over the batter's eye. So every other pitch, yeah. So every other pitch, I'm doing the craziest stuff
Sounds
just to
very
try to
scientific.
lengthen me out. Yeah, I mean, we did everything to try to stretch it out, to try to figure it out. And hey, it worked. I don't know which part of it worked, but man, it finally worked. My first season, they said, look, just go to short season and try to figure it out. And, Ollie Marmol was the manager my first season, and he was 26. I was 27.
The manager's 26. In short season, yeah. Shit. All right. The manager's out at 26, but whatever. You should be
I was like,
playing a year earlier.
Yeah. And literally 2 years earlier, he had just got done playing, I'm pretty sure. And so anyway, we go to short season in State College, and they just say, hey, you got several months. Let's just figure it out, And I remember, every outing, I'd tick up a mile an hour here or there. But what was good about that, though, was I had to relearn how to pitch, man.
Hell yeah.
In college, I was 92 to 94.
Yeah, you were on the fucking 14 backspin,
But now I'm pitching at 87, 88. That's a whole nother ball game, So I had to locate, I had to figure out how to actually pitch.
Guys I have so much respect for are guys like remember Jamie Moyer?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jamie Moyer, he 27 years. He came up as a 93, 96 guy. One of his last years, he was playing with that Seattle team that won 116 games. Yeah. And I'm playing with the Indians, with Jim Thome, with Ellis Burks, with Robbie Alomar, with Juan Gonzalez. I mean, studs. He's top at 83 and carved our fat asses up, dude. He's throwing 66-mile-an-hour curveballs. And like 8 innings, 2 or 3 hits, 1 run, 10 punch-outs. I mean, carved us fuck up. And 15 years earlier, he's a 95, 96 guy. And Bart Cologne, same way. I played with Bart. Actually, Bart was on that Cleveland team. I came up with Bart playing against him in the minors. I mean, he's 98 to 101. Finished his career sinking cutting at 88. Like, it's a big deal to lose 12 miles an hour and still have to learn how to pitch. Because when you can't hide behind 95 or 100, it's tough.
Correct.
It makes everything else less effective.
I truly feel like that year, helped me develop so much because of, to your point, I had to learn actually how to pitch, not just throw it by guys.
And the fact you were in a position where you knew you weren't going to get released, they're like, we'll give you some time here,
That's
almost
right.
like a year-long instructional league kind of thing. That probably had to do a lot for you mentally too.
Well, and the irony was, I told myself, because they also said, hey, don't look at numbers. Just get up there and figure it out. Just learn how to pitch again. That's a huge weight off you right there. Huge weight. Yeah. Well, funny part is, we get done with the season, I had a .8. And I was like, all right, well, I guess it worked. So now I just got... So now we got to figure out how to do that at a higher velocity, because by the time the season was over, I was tapping out at low 90s, which still wasn't where I wanted to be, but it was a lot of progress.
Respectable, yeah.
Yeah, and so they basically said, "Hey, coming into next season, I want you in AA," and I was like, "AA? That's 2 levels above where I'm at." Like,
you're also 28 years old. It's time to share on the pot.
Correct, exactly. Going, And so now it's you got to figure it out. So the next season, I started out actually in high A. Had some arm issues. Never had an off season, so I didn't know what to expect. Had a little bit of arm issues, which was early on stuff. But started out in high A. About halfway through the season, they bumped me to AA. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know this. I know it now because they told me. They sent me to AA basically to cut me. They basically said, hey, we want to get you with your guys, let you see it, and then we were going to release you. Well, I get to AA, and Randy Neiman was the pitching coach at the time. And so me and Randy, we got out there for a bullpen one day, and I'm sure you've had a bullpen like this. No one said a word. Catcher didn't move. I mean, it was just kind of like, all right, that everything was perfect. Everything came out right. Yeah, everything was tight. Everything just felt good. We get done. We walk into the manager's office, who was Mike Shilp at the time, and Randy said, "Hey, you got to get Mitch in tonight's game. You have to get him in. Like that, something's clicked." And from that day forward, man, just things progressed quickly. I was back to 94, 95, touched 6 when I needed it, and it just started to slowly, piece by piece. And then by the end of that year,
when you find that rhythm, man, it becomes easy.
That's right. And I got lucky and got to go to AAA.
Easier.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So found myself in AAA the next season, and got invited to big league spring training in 2015, and they basically said, hey, look, come in ready to go. And I'm thinking like, dude, I'm 2 years out from pitching a short season. He can't be serious. And he was. Mike Matheny basically said, "Look, man, I
Play
saw
against
what
Mike.
happened at the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, come ready to go." And I did, and I was in great shape in 15. Had a great spring, and was one of the last guys to get cut and from spring. And he said, "Be ready." And sure enough, a couple weeks into the season, I get called
Yeah,
up
when it clicks, it
in
clicks. I
Milwaukee.
mean, I was in high A Durham Bulls. 96 won Braves minor league pitcher of the year in 96. They send me back to A ball, same team, Durham Bulls in 97 as a long guy out of the pen, a mop up guy. I am fucking livid. I'm like, I was Braves pitcher the year before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm so pissed. I've got like a 5.5 ERA in high A. Year before, I had like a 3.1. Just pissed. Just head up my ass. And for somebody to call me up to Double A, it clicked. And by the next May, I was in the big leagues. So I went from high A to the big leagues in about 10 months, 11 months.
Yeah.
When it clicks, it clicks. So you're talking about I was in short season, but when it clicks, dude. For older guys like you were at the time at 28, that's if you'd not done Navy, it probably would have clicked for you when you were 23ish, 24ish. But just a cool ride, a cool journey, man.
Yeah, so it was cool, man. It was neat. I got called up. Peter Borges, his wife, they had a baby, and got called up in DC, and it was the top of rotation back in 2015. You remember we had an absolute stud of a staff, and so I was thinking like, I'm not going to see the field here. I mean, Wayno's going, Carlos Martinez and Jaime, all those guys. It was like, dude, I'll get lucky, and if we have a blowout at some point, maybe I can sneak an inning or two in. And so didn't see the field at all in DC. We fly out to Milwaukee, and one of the infielders was told he was going home. They needed an extra arm, and we get to Milwaukee, and that's when Wayno blew out his Achilles. And they called down and said, "Hey, get Harris loose. He's going in." And man, I'll never forget it. April 25th.
There you go. You were in Milwaukee. Who was your first hitter?
Adam Lynn.
What happened?
Struck him out.
There you go. Sequence. What was the sequence? You remember? I remember off the sequence.
Yeah, fastballs off the plate. Yachty wanted to try to punch him out off the plate, and then we threw a cutter in on his back leg, and we got him to chase.
There you go. Yeah, Yachty to throw to too. That's a huge benefit of a young pitcher. Having Yachty right there.
I got to give Tony Cruz credit because this was Yachty's day off, but. Pre-game, it was nice. I still remember pre-game. We went through the hitter sequences and whatnot, and I remember Yachty talking about Adam Lynn during the pre-game, and I took that into the game. And sure enough, Tony Cruz and I were doing the same thing. And,
I played with Benji Molina, Yachty's brother, in Puerto Rico. I played with Benji and played my catcher.
I see Benji all the time. He still does commentary with the Cardinals on the Spanish side. So good people.
I see Benji because he was a great catcher. Just one of those. Just earned himself 12 years in the big leagues. He was a great receiver, great game caller. He could have hit me if I ran through the strike zone. And I can remember being in Texas, and I was pitching hurt. I was so fucking stubborn in Texas. And that was back in the just shoot me up, coach, and get me back in there.
Yeah.
But I still had good shit. I was still 96, 98. And Benji, who I love to death, if I ever see that son of a bitch, how the hell did you do it? He took me opposite field on an 0-0 slider. Who's looking slide up a dude that throws 98? Nobody, especially when you're hitting 220. Or actually probably not even 220. But yeah, it took me oppo in Texas off an 0-0 slider.
Love that.
And maybe I did help out because maybe I spit his bat up, slider bat speed. That's probably why you're hitting 210. You got slider bat speed. I still want to ask him, how the fuck you do that, dude?
And he went oppo.
Yeah, I know. I'm still very angry about that. We're buddies, Benji. You can't do that shit to me. Yes, I mean, just awesome story, dude. And I looked at your numbers. I mean, good numbers. Good numbers.
Appreciate it.
So what got you out of the game?
So got done with 2015. 2016, I show up in spring. I back up. At the end of 15, we're in Atlanta, actually. And, being from Atlanta, we probably had, 30 tickets out. And I told Mike, he'd come around during BP and tell everybody, how you feeling? You're up today, down today, whatever. And I said, hey, let me throw today, at least during the series. And he knew I was hurting. And he said, absolutely not. I want you to take it off.
Mark it on you.
Arm, elbow, forearm. We couldn't really pinpoint, but definitely forearm.
The neck to the middle finger was just mom just barking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hair
Yeah,
down.
pretty much. But you know how it is. Late in the season, who's not? And you're kind of like, I don't care. I got an inning at minimum. Get me in. I'll be all right. Next week I can take off and I'll throw again. Because I had a feeling, we'd won 100 games. We were going to the postseason, but I knew. One, how I felt, and kind of where we were headed as a team. I had a good feeling I wasn't going to be on the playoff roster, and so I was like, man, let me eat up some innings for some other guys, and I'll get home and get healthy. And he basically said that, hey, look, nope, take this weekend off, and then get home, get healthy. We'll see you in the spring. Well, we get back to the spring, and man, it was still barking. We could not figure out, man, I did all kinds of stuff. We did a nerve test. I don't know if you've ever done a nerve test. But
I had one done 2 days ago, actually, on my back.
Boy, they're fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
God, they are awesome. Anyway, figured out going to Dr. Andrews. I'm laughing because he was
That's where I was. Yeah.
So we went to Dr. Andrews, and I laughed because he looked at me square in the face, and, good old Alabama boys like, Mitch, I don't know what's going on with you. And I was like, well, that's not what I came here to hear.
When Jimmy's confused, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that's what I was nervous about. Well, he said, hey, I got one more exam we're going to do, and you ain't going to like it. He said, I'm going to have one of my doctors hold your thumb and basically put stress on your UCL. We're going to take an MRI on your elbow while we're making stress on it. And I was like,
okay.
Yeah, and you can imagine how that felt. He gave me a towel beforehand.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, they took an MRI. And what happened was my UCL the reason they couldn't figure it out because my UCL was in great shape. No tear, no nothing. But as soon as they put stress on it, it was just coming off the bone. So every time they put stress, that UCL was just coming off. It wasn't attached. So that explained it. My UCL was not attached. And so anyway, long story short, they basically say, hey, look.
It should be attached, by the way. It should be attached. Yeah.
And they said, look, you could do Tommy John, but there's a new surgery where we do a repair, not a replace. And we wrap scaffolding tape around it, screw it into your elbow, and you're good to go. And usually we think it could be earlier than Tommy John, but we haven't done it on a big leaguer yet. But he said, but because you don't have near the innings these other guys have, you're perfect candidate for it. Let's try it out and see. And I knew that, at my age, it's like, I got to try this or I might not be here.
Yeah.
So ended up having surgery in 2016. Came back in 17, probably a little bit earlier than I should have, but at 31, I was trying to figure out if I could just come back and
be a hero.
Yeah.
And
had a young. That's right. And so had a little one at the time, and got released in 2017 after just not being able to get back to 100%, and therefore had to get a quote unquote real job from there.
Yeah. Actually, Jimmy gave me that one right there. He gave me that one.
That's right.
Yeah, remember, I had sort of something similar, not elbow, shoulder, but it was a nerve thing. It was a pit. Remember Peyton Manning had the pinched nerve in his neck that shut his whole shoulder down? The same thing.
Yeah.
Except Peyton shut down for a whole year. My dumb ass is like, just shoot me up, get me back out there. And Jimmy got me too. He said, 2 cuff muscles were 85% torn, labrum torn off the bone, and I could take my shoulder and relax it and stick 3 fingers under the scapula. I mean, it was just disgusting.
Good God.
So yeah, something nerve thing kind of like you, but so I did get one of those nerve conduction tests for that. But I mean, at some point in time, we always say you're going to make your last throw one of these days.
Yep.
Will be Jamie Moyer at 47, or will be me and you at 31, 32. So
well, it's one of those things where I wish I could have had much longer time. Everybody does, right? But my thing is, I got to do something that most haven't, and I wouldn't change it for the world. It was so much fun getting to see the world, but also getting to serve with the people I served with, and then what was really neat is getting to go all these ballparks.
It's so cool. I mean, how thick, how thick as thieves big league alumni is. Well, you got that alumni group and the Navy alumni group. I mean, you got just cool alumni groups just on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel so honored to be a part of a group, like guys like yourself and Ank and all these guys. They're just good buddies now. And it's just really cool that we know what we had to go through to achieve that, and we hold that special because that number, it still shocks me to this day. There's only been 20-some thousand to ever do it, and it's still something that sometimes I got to pinch myself to realize, like, man.
At any one time, if you're a pitcher of the big leagues, you're one of the best 330 on the planet. That's it.
Yeah.
You're one of 330.
And so
That's
this is
it.
special.
Yeah, tough to do.
Right.
So, rightfully so, you wrote a book that just recently come out, My Private War. Tell me where the idea for that came around. Obviously, tremendous story, but I wrote a book 15 years ago. That is no small undertaking.
Yeah. Well, I wish you had told me that several years ago, because my gosh, that was harder than making it to the big leagues. I think
it takes a minute. It takes a minute. Yeah.
No, what happened is back in spring training of 2016, we had someone reach out to us about the possibility of doing a film with everything that had gone on. And so, we had that conversation. It kind of took its own route. And, I kind of pulled myself from that because some things I wasn't for in some of that. And so I told my wife, I said, if they're going to go that route, maybe Hollywoodize some stuff. I want to tell the full story from my mouth, and so that's kind of what started the whole process. Was probably back in 2018, 19. I said, let's start putting some pen to paper and write the story how I think it should be told.
Do you hire somebody to assist you in this, or do you do it all yourself?
You don't want me writing the book, my God. Yeah. I hired somebody to help me write it, and so that was a big undertaking. But man, I'm so proud of how it turned out, and some of the things that I'm talking to people nowadays. It's like everybody's got this social media, Google story, whatever you want to call it, and a lot of that's a facade, man. It's not the real story, and I wanted people to understand that some of the things I had to go through on the field and off the field, people don't know. And I think that helps out with people understanding that, hey, we're just like everybody else. We have to battle through stuff. We got obstacles and adversities that we got to.
Tell me one such story from the book. One of those like people don't know kind of things that you feel like.
Oh man, so
spoiler for the book, but tell me one of those stories.
Yeah. So when I came back from my last deployment, I was married and had been married for basically right at a year. And I get home from my I literally was coming home on my 1 year anniversary, and realizing that it was going south quick. Realized that she was with,
Wow.
she was with someone 20 years our senior at the time, and that rocked me, because she basically told me that, hey, she didn't love me anymore, and there was nothing I could do, no counseling, no nothing could solve that. Never saw it, never realized that that's something I'd had to go through, which really was just the start of a spiral for me that took me to rock bottom. And it was through a lot of the stuff, depression, using alcohol for reasons I shouldn't be, to fill voids that I was trying to fill, and doing everything I could to try to fill whatever this missing piece was. I talk to people all the time about, you hear this mental health and depression, whatever you want to call it. But I was in it. It was bad. And so for me, when I got out of that, and years later, I said, I think as men, a lot of times we want to act so, macho that we can't, through stuff.
Fine, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
But it goes back to that military piece for me, which is, someone told me one day, what kind of guy do you want to fight with? The guy that's, got just a pristine uniform, looks the part, but has no scars, no battle wounds, nothing. Or the guy that looks rough, tumble, been through all kinds of crap, and he's just got scars everywhere and comes through it. Which guy do you want to fight with? That's an easy decision. I want the guy that looks rough.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, well, then why are we taking life the opposite? Why are we showing us all prim and proper, all pretty, and not showing everybody all the stuff that we've gone through? Yeah. So I wanted to write the story and show the ugliness and show the stuff that that I'm not proud of, but that I came through and able to overcome.
We want people to think we're perfect. And we have no flaws, and we live this awesome, on a pedestal type lifestyle.
Yeah, and so I wanted to be vulnerable,
shiny castle up here, yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to be vulnerable and show people that, look, man, at the end of the day, that's what makes the journey worthwhile, man. I actually got it tattooed on my ribs because during one of these moments, long story short, I went to a counselor. He said, you need to write your feelings down. I was like, look, dude, you got the wrong guy. I don't do journals. That ain't me. But, at some point I was basically rock bottom, and I said, what I got to lose? So I started writing stuff down. And one night I wrote down the quote, said, it takes courage to face the mountain and strength to climb. But when you reach the summit and see the valley, you realize who you become. And I was like, dang.
That's awesome, dude.
Where'd that come from?
I wish I'd had that when I was in the minors.
Yeah. So I literally left that night, put down whatever I was drinking, and went to the tattoo place and said, I need this on my ribs because I don't want to forget the depths of which I'm at right now. Because when I do reach that summit and look back on this night, I want to remember what I overcame. Yeah. And to this day, man, it's a rewarding thing to think about some of the stuff that I went through. But I want people to know that they can too. Whatever they're fighting, whatever the battle.
To take that quote, how cool was it when you walked on that goddamn so you were in Washington when you got caught up? When you walked out of that dugout for the first time wearing that Cardinal uniform and you looked up at that stadium climbing up all that big cathedral and you're like, and you're looking back over the last 10 years of your life going,
that's right,
and looking at that Cardinal on your jersey. How cool was that? And that was that quote, I mean, to a T right there.
Exactly. Yeah. And the irony of standing on the mound of being that's my summit, was pretty cool. And so that was a rewarding moment to kind of think through all the stuff, all the crap that I had to go through to achieve that and get to that, both physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that to culminate to that moment was cool and special. Mine was just your basic minor league journey of all the ups and downs and the 3 a.m. Waffle Houses and the shitty bus rides. But I mean, you with the Navy involved and all that is just so cool, man. I mean, just at the tender age of 39, have lived a badass life, man. You really have. So I appreciate it.
I was asking Johnny, I want one of your books. Where can I get one of your books?
Yeah, so anybody can get them on Amazon or MitchHarris.com, either place. But those are the two easiest places to get them. Amazon, probably get it right overnight if you got Prime. But Amazon is where I tell everybody to go to.
Okay, so folks, listen. My Private War, Mitch Harris. The story we've been talking about here is in the book, and obviously what a fucking awesome story, man. So what are you doing now? Ex big leaguer, ex naval officer.
If we'd have talked about this 10 years ago, I'd have laughed. But I'm in wealth management. So long story short, when I got out, I realized how dumb some of the things.
Stuffy white collar guy.
Yeah, look at me. Yeah. So I saw all my buddies, teammates, quite frankly, doing stuff that I just thought was not very bright, and tried to figure out, all right, is everybody in that business scumbags?
Yes, they are.
So I called a buddy and I said, hey, tell me why everybody in this business is a scumbag. And he's like, dude, it's not. I think you're seeing the wrong thing. So I started doing my own research of the industry, and as an engineer at the academy, so the numbers were going to come easy. It was just understanding the rules, laws, and regulations. And so everybody said the best training program was Merrill. So I called them to see if I could get a job, and here I am, going on 8 years.
So you're working for Merrill now, huh?
Yep. Okay. Here in Alpharetta. Yep.
Very nice. All right. Big need, because I never had a financial manager get me, but I did have one of my best friends here making Georgia I'm at right now embezzled $1.3 million from me. A guy I'm best friends with for about 15 years, and I had to put him in jail.
And see, this is the thing that ticks me off. If I had a nickel for every time I heard a story like that, I wouldn't have to have a job, and it's just so frustrating.
Jake Peavy, his guys, his personal financial manager got in for like 20.
It's insane.
They took his ass to the bank, literally.
It's insane. It's just an ego thing, and that's why for me it's kind of like, look, man, I tell people this, it's like I'm not going to sell you a thing. My thing is I want you to know that you can trust me and that I care and that I'm going to be blunt and honest with you. And at the end of the day, if I have to have a tough conversation so that you can have a legacy and a life that you want to live, hey, I'll take the blunt of that, because at the end of the day, man, I don't want someone who's worked all this time to make it to such a big level or build up a career, have this big company, and then to blow it and not be able to live a life that they've dreamed of. And so that's my goal now, man. It's just to help people, understand things that they may not understand, and see if I can help them achieve their goals off the field.
Yeah. Great story, dude. Great story. Well, thanks for being on the show, dude. And everybody listening, My Private War, Mitch Harris. Go check it on Amazon. Thanks for being on the show, man. And hopefully one day we can meet in person, sit down, and have a beer.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do that. Now we're closer to each other.
Go play in your game and don't blow a hammy out.
That's right.
At least don't blow both hammies out.
That's right. Yeah, we can go with one. We can tape it up.
Yeah, one's fine. All right, man. We'll see you.
All right, have a good one. Bye.